So excited to offer this class and seeing that people from all over the world are able to take it. So it gives me all this energy that I want to just keep offering classes streamed so that more and more people can benefit from them. I just had no idea the far reach because I'm a technology dinosaur. But I'm getting open to offering classes this way. So this is a very special class that I hardly ever teach. It's very detailed, and it really helps you to connect the pelvis to the legs via the hip joint all the way around in a full circular way. Okay, so it requires a lot of detail, and so as we begin, we'll start with something basic to warm the back of the hips up, and then I'll stand and really demonstrate this so that you can really see this very carefully. And after we do this full release of the pelvis and hips, full circle all the way around, then we will go into a little bit more detailed work in the hips and the pelvis so that you can have a couple other variations that you can have at home. And what's best is that you will have all of this information, this entire class recorded so that you can have it for home use, because there's a lot to focus on. So let's start very quickly by just warming up. So this is something I start many classes with. So I'm going to have my back to you so that you can see where the ball is. So the ball is right in the middle at the bottom of the sit bones, and my spine is going to stay straight, and I'm just going to let the ball lift up, lift and separate the buttocks up, and then I put my heels to the floor and the balls go down into my hamstrings, and I do it again. So I stand perfectly straight on this ball. My two sit bones are on the ball. And I just move my hips forward and the balls lift up on my gluteus muscles. And then I use my hands for support. I bring my hips back and the balls go down into my hamstrings. And one more time. Hips straight down into the ball. I move my hips forward. And the balls now go down into my hamstrings. And back. And now I want you to just take the balls on a little bit out to the outer side of your sit bones. You can keep your knees bent a little bit. And just inhale, exhale, bear weight down into the balls and just move your hips. Let your hips start to shift forward. So I want you to just lean back a little bit here so the balls are in your hip joints. And push your heels into the floor and let the balls go down into your lateral hamstring muscle, and do it again. So the balls are on the outer sit bones, and you're going to just curve your hips forward, use your hands, curve your pelvis forward, and just lean here. And you can lean over to one side and just feel that ball in the joint. Move it a little bit up and a little bit down so you can feel that ball explore your joint. And do the same thing on the other side. Just lean the knee out and let the ball go a little bit higher in the joint and a little bit lower. And come back to both balls on the outside. And you're going to just bring those hips back and let the balls go down into your outer hamstring. And just do that one more time. Curl your hips forward. Let your knees spread out. Just lean a little bit to one side and lean a little bit to the other, and push your heels back into the floor and let the balls go down into your outer hamstrings. And now bring the balls in so they're touching, so that the balls are on each, balls are touching, and the balls are going to go up each side. So just move your hips forward, and the balls are going to go up to each side of your tailbone. Just stay there with your weight coming down into the balls. So The balls are on each side of your tailbone. Now you're going to start to curl your tailbone forward. And you're going to let those balls roll up each sacroiliac joint. Nice and easy. Lean back. Let the balls roll all the way up to the top of your sacrum, the top of your sacroiliac joints. And then push your heels into the floor and let the balls roll back down to your inner sit bones. And now bring your hips back and let the balls roll down to your inner hamstrings. And do that again. So let the balls be on either side of your tailbone. Make sure the balls are touching. And stay there for a moment. Lean back a little bit. Stimulate each side of your tailbone. And slowly curl your hips forward. And let the balls start to roll up each side of your sacrum, nice and easy. Don't race, you're stimulating the nerve roots of your sacrum. And move your hips a little more forward, and let the balls roll up to the very top of your pelvic bones, the top of your sacrum. And then you're going to slowly bring your hips backwards. Let your hips come out behind you. Let the balls go into your inner hamstrings. And just do that one more time. So let the balls be touching. Move your hips forward. Let the balls go on each side of your tailbone. Stay here. Lean back. Put a little weight here. Start to curve your pelvis forward. So you want to start to, as you curve your pelvis forward, the balls roll up each side of your sacroiliac joints. Let the balls go all the way up to the very top of your pelvis, into your lower back a little bit, and then use your heels, push to push, use your hands, let the balls slowly come back down to the inner sit bones, be touching, and then let the balls roll into your inner thighs, and come off the balls. So that's just a quick warm-up for the back of your hips. And now we're going to go into a lot of detail. Okay, so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to demonstrate where we're going. Okay, so we're going to repeat some of what we've just done, only it's going to change differently. So the ball's going to start on your inner side of your sit bone. And you're going to roll that ball all the way up to the top of your pelvis. And then you're going to roll it back down. And you're going to roll it into your thigh. So that ball's going to push down up into your thigh. And then the ball's going to go into the joint. So at that joint, you're going to raise that leg. You're going to turn it out. You're going to turn it in, turn it out, turn it in a couple times. Then you're going to, with the leg raised, then you're going to let that ball roll up. So that gives you a deeper separation at the hip joint, and then you're going to let the ball roll down with that leg raised, and then back into the joint. And then you're going to move out to the next spot. And you're going to roll that ball all the way up, and you're going to roll that ball all the way down into your thigh bone. And then you're going to be in the joint. And again, you're going to raise the leg up, turn it out, turn it in a couple times. Then keeping it up, you're going to lift up on the gluteus muscle, and then you're going to push down into the thigh, go back into the joint, and turn that around a little more. So we're going to keep working around the entire side. So at each point, you're going to roll from the joint up to the top of the pelvis, then back down, pushing down at the leg. So as you release the hip joint here, you start to release the IT. So people get really worried about how tight their IT is, but it could be how tight the hip joint is. So as we begin to unwind the entire joint, the leg can relax down. Okay, so then we're going to go forward. So as we're forward, we're going to take that ball up to the very top of the pelvis, and then we're going to take it back down to the joint and go down to the front of the thigh. and then back in. And since we're going to be face down, it's going to be a little hard to raise the leg, but you're going to raise that leg, and again, turn it in, turn it out a couple times. Lift back up with the leg raised, lift up and push down, and then back into the joint. Then you're going to turn that leg out. And you're going to roll on the inside edge of this pelvic bone. You're going to roll up the inside edge so that ball's in your abdomen. And then you're going to go back alongside the pubic bone. And you're going to push down into the inner thigh. Then back right there. And you're going to, again, raise that leg. Turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, turn it out. Keeping the leg raised, you're going to lift up into the abdomen. You're going to go down into the thigh, back into the joint, and you've completed that whole side. Okay, so stay with me. I'll cue you at each point, but I want you to really see just how many angles that you can get into your hip joint by lifting and stimulating the pelvis, by unwinding the femur, your thigh bone that goes into your hip socket. So let's start. So I'm going to have that ball right on that inner side of my sit bone. And I'm just going to put my weight there. And then I'm going to start to curve my hips forward and let that ball roll up that side of the sacrum. Nice and easy, breathing, staying at each point. So I'm right along the sacroiliac joint. Move your hips forward. Let that ball roll up to the very top of your sacrum, top of your pelvis there. Let the ball slide into your lower back a little bit. And now push that heel into the floor and let that ball roll back down. And as the hip goes back, the ball goes into your hamstrings. Just let it come down a little on your inner hamstring and now go back into the joint. So that the joint means that if you're on the inside of your sit bone, just move it a little bit out there. Inhale and raise the leg up. Exhale, press down. So you're feeling more that you're pressing into your sit bone here. Turn your leg in, turn your leg out, turn your leg in, turn your leg out. Keep it in neutral. Slide that ball up a little bit, lifting up on your buttock. Now pull your hip back, slide that ball into the leg, bring it back into the joint, and drop your leg. Take that ball out a little bit, so you're moving out. At first you're going to be on the sit bone. That'll be more like the joint. Once we get out further to the side, you'll feel you're in the joint more. So bear weight down. So you're going to inhale, exhale, get your weight here, and start to slide that hip forward. Take a breath. So now you're lifting up more center of your buttock. Inhale and exhale. Move your hip forward. Let that ball roll up a little more. Inhale. Exhale. Let your weight come down. Slide your hip forward and roll that ball right up to the top of your pelvis. Let it slide just above your pelvis into your lower back there. And now push. So this is all stimulating the posterior pelvis, the back of your pelvis. You're stimulating the bone, you're stimulating the muscle that is here, which is your gluteus maximus. As we go out to the side, there'll be gluteus medius and minimus. And now let your hip go back, let that ball slide into your femur, into your hamstrings. And now bring it back on the sit bone. And inhale, raise that leg up. Exhale, press your body weight down. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Keep it straight. Slide the ball backwards, lifting up on your gluteus maximus. And now bring your hip back and slide that ball forward. Keep your leg raised. Take the ball back to the sit bone and drop your leg. And now move the ball to the outer side of your sit bone. And so that you're on that outer side. So we're starting to come around We'll start coming onto the side next. So inhale, exhale, bear weight down. Slide that hip forward. Slide that hip forward. Lean back here because now you're getting into the different gluteus muscles. Stay here. Breathe. Let your hip weight go down into the ball. Slide your heel forward. And let that ball roll up a little bit more. Bring your weight down here. Stay here. Breathe. Slide that heel forward. And let that ball go right up to the very top of the pelvic bone. Lift those back ribs and slide that ball just above your pelvic bone. Stay here. Full breath here. Press here. And now pull your body back and let that ball roll back down to starting point so at the lateral side of your sit bone. And pull your hips forward. Pull your hips backward and let that ball start to roll down more of the outer side of your thigh bone. And take that ball back to that outer edge of your sit bone. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press your weight here. Turn your leg in, turn your leg out, turn your leg in, turn your leg out. Keep it neutral. Press down into the ball and slide your hip forward. Feel it lift up on your gluteus muscle here. And pull your body backwards. Let that ball slide down into your femur. And bring it back alongside the sit bone. And now you're going to start to take that ball out a little bit. So now you're going to start to feel it in the joint. So come down on your forearms so you get more weight here. Just stay here so the ball is in the joint now. So if you're not sure what that means, if you move the ball down, it's going to go into your thigh bone. And if you move it up, it's going to go into your pelvis so that you can feel the ball sink in here more. Slide your heel forward and let that ball roll up the outside of your thigh, the outside of your buttock. Stay here. Breathe. Let your weight go into the ball. So this should be more painful. This is the gluteus medius and minimus. You're more fully on them. Slide your heel forward. Let that ball come up to the top of your pelvis. Let it go right up to the top edge, into the soft tissue above the pelvis. Stay there. Take a couple breaths. Lift those back ribs so you're not touching ribs at all. And now pull your body backwards and let that ball roll back down. Get that ball back into the joint. Pull it down into your hamstrings, into your femur. So it's starting to go a little bit onto the side, back side. And now go into the joint. And inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press your body weight down. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Bring it to neutral. Now, keep your body up now and press down into the ball. Slide that ball up into your gluteus medius and minimus area. And now pull your body backwards. Feel how it can grab the top of your thigh bone there. And now push that thigh bone forward. And bring that ball back into the joint. And lower your leg. And start to turn onto your side. So that ball starts coming out your side. You're not completely on your side yet. You're sort of just, next spot will be completely on your side. Bear weight down into the ball. Slide your leg forward. Let that ball go up a little bit. Stay here. Breathe. Deepen. Get your body weight here. Stay here. So these are really tight muscles. This is all gluteus medius and minimus. Stay here pressing in. Slide your leg down. Let the ball slide up to the top of the pelvis. Lift those ribs up and away. Press down just where the ball is right at the top of the pelvis. Stay there. Press.
breathe. And now use your hands, and you're going to pull that ball down so your body's moving in the direction of your head. Let that ball go into the joint. Now let it go down into your thigh bone. So you're at a slightly different angle going into the thigh bone. And now take it into the ball goes back into the joint where you started. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, turn the leg in. Turn it out. Breathe, turn it in. Turn it out, bring it to neutral. Come up so you've got more weight where the ball is. Slide your hip forward. Feel that ball lift up out of the joint. Bring it back into the joint. Now let it grab the top of your thigh bone and really push that thigh bone out even more. Bring it back into the joint. Lower the leg. Now turn completely on your side. So that ball's right above your thigh bone. Okay, so this is at the top of your joint. Stay down here. Breathe. Get your body weight here. Now if it's hard for you to hold yourself up, you can use the gold ball in your armpit. You can always modify using additional balls to support you. Now slide that leg down. Slide that leg down, and the ball is going to go all the way up to the top of the pelvis here. Lift those ribs up and away. Stay here. Breathe. Let that ball sink in just above the pelvic bone. And now you're going to use that other foot. You're going to roll that ball down into the joint, to the top of the hip joint. Now let it push down at the side of your thigh bone. So you're pushing your thigh bone down. Let that ball roll down the side of your thigh bone a little bit. So this is all what's called your IT band, your iliotibial band. This all gets nice and tight on people. When you release the hip the way we're doing it, you will release the IT band. Now slide that ball back into the joint, right at the top. Inhale, raise the leg up. Now exhale, turn it in, turn it out, turn it in more, turn it out as you press down into the ball. Keep your leg neutral. Now slide that ball up a little bit into the side of the pelvis, and now pull it down with the leg raised. Pull it down into the thigh, and then back into the joint. And now start to turn forward, so that ball is going to go a little forward. Your face is going to face forward. And you're going to roll up so if this is the front, you're going to roll up just on the back side. So slide that leg down, roll that ball up the front of the pelvis. So you're on the back side of it. Let that ball roll up so you're at the ball's at the top of the pelvis, right above it. Lift your ribs, stay here, breathe, feel this work. Now use your other foot to help you. Let that ball roll down the outside here, stay, press in, and now you're going to feel that ball push down at the top of the thigh, a little bit forward on it, and now you're going to let that ball roll down. Let that ball roll down the top of the thigh so you're slightly lateral. You're not completely face down yet, so you should feel this in your quadriceps. And now slide that leg back down. Let that ball go into the joint. Pick up the leg. So I want you to see that the other leg you use for support, pick up the leg, turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, turn it out. Keep the leg up. Slide that ball up the outside edge of the pelvis. And now pull, keep that leg up and slide it down into the thigh a little bit. Bring it back into that joint. Drop your leg. Now we're going to be facing straight down. We're going to be right at the front. You're going to roll it up to the top of the pelvis. Down, push down here. So 2 more spots on the side. So Take that ball right to the front of the joint. Press your body weight here. Get your body weight down here. Breathe. Slide the leg down and let that ball slowly roll up the front of the pelvic bone. Stay down here. Breathe. Press your body weight down into the ball. Slide your leg down a little bit more. Press the top of the pelvis into the ball. Slide that ball right over onto the top here. Lift those ribs out of the way. Press down. Let that front of the pelvis press down into the ball. Now pull your body forward and let that ball go into the joint, into the front of the joint. Now pull your body forward. Let that ball roll down the front of your thigh. Stay here. Pull your body forward. Let that ball roll about halfway down the front of your thigh. And let that ball go back into the front of the joints. You're facing straight down. Inhale, raise that leg up. Exhale, press down the front of the joint. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Bring it to neutral. Pull your leg out behind you and let that ball roll up the front of the pelvis. Raise that leg a little higher. Now pull your body forward and let that ball roll down the front of the thigh. Feel it lengthening the whole front of your hip and bring it back in to the front of the joint. Now turn your leg out and move that ball with your hand. Adjust it with your hand so it's just next to the side of your pubic bone. So just stay here, put some body weight here. Now, when that leg slides back, the ball's going to slide up above your pubic bone into this side of your abdomen. So you'll be in your abdomen. So slide. If you're pregnant, you're not doing this. If you've had any abdominal surgery within the last 3 months, you're not doing this piece of this exercise. Just slide that leg down. That ball goes right above the pubic bone. Stay here. Take some big breaths here. Press down. Slide your leg down a little bit. Let that ball roll up a little bit. Take some big breaths here. Slide that leg down and let that ball roll up. So it's on the inside. It's on the inside edge of the pelvis here. And slide the leg down so the ball gets in line with the very top of the front of the pelvis. Stretch that arm out, stretch that leg. Take a couple big breaths here. Now pull your body forward and let that ball go alongside the pubic bone again. Keep that leg turned out. Now pull your body forward and let that ball go down your inner thigh. Press your inner thigh down into the ball. Stay here. Pull your body a little bit more forward and let that ball roll down your inner thigh a little bit. Now bring the ball in alongside your pubic bone. And inhale, raise that leg up. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Keep the leg raised. Slide your leg back behind you. Let that ball roll into the lower abdomen. Keep that leg lifted. Pull your body forward. Let that ball roll into the inner thigh muscles. Keep the leg turned out and lifted. And take the ball back in alongside the pubic bone. Lie on your back. Take 3 or 4 breaths and let that work really settle in. I want you to really feel the difference from releasing all the way around, releasing the pelvis, the thigh, and the hip joint all the way around. So each side is very different. I want you to take a moment and really feel this. If Feel how activated the entire hip joint feels. And inhale and bend your knees up into your chest and hold them there for a moment. And I want you to roll over onto that side. And I want you to stand, and I want you to really feel now with weight into the foot, what does that side feel like? Take a couple of moments just to walk around. Feel the amount of space that you've created in that joint, the amount of ease you feel in that joint and in that leg and in the entire pelvis and the torso standing that much taller and stronger. Okay, so now let's get ready to do this all on the second side. Okay, so hope everybody's with me. I know this is not easy. It's easy to do, but it's a lot of pathways, a lot of steps to this pathway. So to review, you're going to start with that ball on the inner sit bone. And you're going to roll up the sacrum, up to the top of the pelvis. And you're going to roll back down. You're going to roll into the inner thigh, into the joint, raise the leg, turn it in and out. And then lift again, go down again, and then to the next spot. And we're going to continue all the way around till we get to the front of the pubic bone. So I'll guide you along at each spot. So you've got that ball on the inner side of your sit bone. So inhale, exhale, let your body weight come down, and curl your hips forward, and roll that ball up along the side of the sacrum. Inhale, exhale, let your weight come down here. Curl your hips forward, let the ball roll up the side of the sacrum. Inhale, exhale, let your weight come down. Move your hips forward. And let the ball roll up to the top of the pelvis. And let it roll just above into the lower back. Stay here, press here. Now push with the heels, roll down that sacroiliac joint. Let the hip go back, and let that ball go into the inner thigh. And bring that ball back to that inner sit bone. And you're going to inhale, you're going to raise that leg up. Exhale, you're going to press down into the ball. You're going to turn the leg in, turn the leg out, turn the leg in, turn the leg out. You're going to pull that leg forward and let that ball lift up the back. And now keep that leg up and pull your hip back and roll that ball to your inner thigh and back to the inner side of your sit bone. And now you're going to move that ball right to center sit bone. Keep your body weight on the side that you're doing. Inhale, exhale, bear weight down and let that ball start to lift up the center of your buttock. Inhale, exhale, let the weight come down, let the ball lift up into the center of your buttock. Inhale, exhale, let that ball slide up to the top of your pelvis, into your lower back. Stay here, breathe, pressing your lower back into the ball. And now push with your feet, use your hands and roll that ball straight down the center of your buttock. And let your hip go back and let that ball roll right into your thigh bone. Pressing your thigh bone into the ball, roll your hip back a little bit. And take that ball right to the center of your sit bone. And inhale, raise your leg up. Exhale, press down. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Bring it to neutral. Pressing down. Slide that leg forward. Feel it lift up on your buttock. And now keep that leg up. And let that ball roll forward from your sit bone into your thigh bone, letting it push the thigh bone forward. Bring it back to the sit bone. Drop your leg. Let the ball go to the outer side of your sit bone now. Bear weight there. You're going to slide that leg forward and let that ball start to roll up a little bit wider on your buttock. Inhale, exhale. Let your body weight come down here. Inhale, exhale. Slide that heel forward and let that ball roll up a little bit more. You can rest on your forearm. Inhale, exhale. Press down. Slide your hip forward. Let that ball go right up to the top of the pelvis. So it's just a little wider. You're at the top of the pelvis. Stay there. Breathe. Let your body weight come down here. Lift those back ribs up and away as you press right here. Now pull your body backwards and let that ball start to roll back down to where you started, just to the lateral side of the sit bone. And pull your body backwards and let that ball roll more to the outer side of your thigh bone in the back. Just keep bringing your hip back and let the ball roll down on this angle. Take the ball into the joint. So you're on the lateral side of the sit bone, just lateral to it. Inhale, raise that leg up. Exhale, press down into the ball. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Bring it to neutral. Press down into the ball. Slide that leg forward. Feel the ball lifting up on your gluteus medius and minimus here, the more lateral gluteus muscles. And now pull the ball, pull your body backwards, let that ball push down on your thigh bone, trying to lower it out of the joint. Bring the ball back to the outside edge of your sit bone. Bring your leg down. Now you're going to start to turn a little bit on your side. You're still in the back. Press down here. Keep your weight here. Keep your weight here. Now slide your leg forward and let that ball roll up here. Stay at each point. This is going to be a little bit more tender. This whole outer back side is gluteus medius and minimus. They're tighter, thicker muscle. Stay here. Breathe. Slide the leg forward. Let the ball roll up a little bit more. Stay here. Breathe. Slide your leg forward and let that ball roll up to the top of the pelvis. Now lift the ribs here and stay here and press into the ball. So the ball's just above the pelvis here. Stay here, but it's pressing into the top of the pelvis. Stay. Breathe. Now pull your body backwards direction of your head and let that ball start to roll down. So it rolls down into the joint and let it roll down into the thigh. So that, again, the angles change because the ball's a little coming more towards the side of your thigh. We're still not completely on your side. And let that ball roll into the joint. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press down into the ball. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Bring it to neutral. Bear weight down into the ball. Slide your leg forward. Let that ball roll up a little bit. Now pull your body backward and let that ball slide down, pushing your thigh bone down, and bring the ball back into the joint. And now turn onto your side. So now the ball's right at the top of your thigh bone. Just let your body weight press in here. So you're right at the side, right at the top, just above your thigh bone. Slide, use your top foot for balance. Slide your leg down. Slide your leg down. Let that ball get right up to the top of the pelvic bone. Lift those ribs up and away. Take 2 or 3 breaths here. Keep lifting those ribs, pressing your body weight down where the ball is. Now use that other foot, use your hands, start to roll that ball directly down the side. Let it push down to the top of your thigh bone. Feel that ball pushing your thigh bone down. Let that ball roll down a little bit into your, what's called your IT band, your iliotibial band. And let the ball roll down just a little bit more. Stay there. Sink into the ball. Let your body weight come down here. And slide that leg down and let that ball go right in at the top of the joint. Inhale, raise that leg up. Exhale, press down here. Turn your leg in, turn your leg out, turn your leg in, turn your leg out. Keep the leg up. Inhale, exhale, press down into the ball. Slide that leg forward. Let that ball roll up to the top of the pelvis. And now pull that ball back down, right to the top of the thigh. Now press that ball down into the thigh, unwinding that thigh down. Bring the ball back into the top of the joint. Drop your leg. So now you're going to start to turn to face forward. So first you're on the outside edge of this bone. Then we're going to be facing straight down. So come up on your toes, slide that leg down, and let that ball slide up the back side of the front of the pelvis. Slide it all the way up to the top of the pelvic bone. Lift those ribs. Take 3 or 4 big breaths here. Stretch the leg out. Lift the ribs. Stay here. Breathe. Let that ball go in. And now use your feet, use your hands. Let that ball roll down the outside of the pelvis into the joint. Now let it go down the thigh a little bit. So you're on that outer front thigh, sliding that ball down. This might be a little painful. The quadriceps are pretty tight, pretty stuck here. Now slide that leg down and let that ball go back into the joint. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press down. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Keep the leg up. Slide the leg down and let the ball roll up the back side of the front of the pelvis here. And now let it go down and let it go down into the thigh on this angle. Keep that leg up. Let it roll down and let it go back into the joint. And now you're going to be face down. So bring that ball straight into the front of the joint. It's going to roll up to the top of the pelvis. Then it's going to roll down your quadriceps and then into the joint. So lie face down. Put that ball right into the front of the joint. Bear weight down here. Stay here. Breathe. Get the body weight here. Stay here. Breathe. Slide your leg down. Let that ball roll up the front of the pelvic bone. Stay low. Press your body weight into the ball. Slide the leg down and take that ball up to the top of the pelvis. Lift those ribs up and away from the ball. Press down here. Stay. Breathing. Keep extending the leg out. Now pull your body forward and let that ball roll into the front of the pelvis. Now pull your body forward and let that ball roll down the front of your thigh bone. Stay here pressing in. Pull your body a little more forward. Let the ball roll down the front of your thigh. And bring that ball back into the front of the joint. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press down into the ball. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Turn your leg in. Turn your leg out. Bring the leg back to neutral. Extend the leg out behind you. Keep stretching it out and let the ball roll up the front of the pelvis. And now keep that leg up and pull your body forward and let that ball roll down into the front of the pelvis. Keep the leg up, let that ball roll down a little more, and then back into the joint, and let your body weight drop down. And now you're going to turn that leg out, and you're going to place that ball just alongside the pubic bone. And get your weight right there. Stay there. Breathe. Take some big breaths. Stay here. Now slide the leg down, and as you slide the leg down, the ball goes into the belly, into the lower abdomen on the left side. Stay here and breathe. Lean your weight here. So the ball's going up the inside edge of your pelvic bone, but you're in your abdomen. Slide the leg down and let that ball roll up a little bit more. Lean onto the side. Put your weight here. Stay here and breathe. Slide the leg down. Let that ball go up a little bit more. Stay here. Breathe. Let your body weight go into the ball. And slide your leg down to the balls at the very top of the pelvic bone. So right at the top of the pelvic bone, I want you to pull those ribs forward. Come down. Stay down, breathing and pressing down into the ball. Now pull your body forward and let that ball roll back down into the joint, right where you started, alongside the pubic bone. Now keep your leg turned out, roll that ball down into the inner thigh. Stay there, breathe. Pull your body forward and let that ball roll down the inner thigh a little bit more. Press your thigh down into the ball. And now take that ball back alongside the pubic bone. Inhale, raise the leg up. Exhale, press down. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Turn the leg in. Turn the leg out. Bring it to neutral. Keep the leg up. Slide the leg down and let the ball roll into the lower abdomen. Keep that leg up. Press down into the ball. Take a couple breaths. Keep that leg lifted. Press down into the ball. Now pull your body forward and let that ball go in to the inner thigh. Keep the leg lifted. Keep letting the ball roll down the inner thigh. Keep letting it roll down. Keep the leg lifted. And bring the ball back alongside the pubic bone and take the ball out. And lie on your back and let the two sides of your body integrate. So you've just done deep work into both sides of the pelvis, both hip joints, both thighs. So let those two sides just integrate. Take a few breaths and just feel the difference. The work that you did on each side, I'm sure, was completely different. So you might have a better idea now where you feel a little bit stuck in the joint, where you need to go back in on which angle and work more. This gives you a real readout on your hips, because you can feel stuck in one hip in one way and stuck in another hip the other way, and not know where until you do this. Just feel those legs extending out from the hip joints. And inhale, bend your knees up into your chest, and just hold them there. Take some breaths. And then roll over onto a side. Sit up and stand, because I want you to really feel this with the weight of your body coming down into your feet. What you feel in your hip joints, what you feel in your pelvis. Take a walk around your room a little bit just to feel the difference in sensations. Just feel how you're standing taller, how you feel very solid in your pelvis as your foundation, that it translates into your feet, that you're more solid in your feet. If you feel looser in the hip joints, as you walk, they should walk and feel easier.
Okay, now we're going to go into the next work. So I want you to take the 2 black balls. If you're using the advanced blue balls, you can use those. And keep the gold ball near you. So now we're going to go explore the hip joint in a deeper way. So I want you to take your thigh right at the edge of your mat. So I want it completely lined up, your sit bone to your knee, in line with the outside of the mat. So I don't want that foot closed. I want your leg in a right angle. And I want you to just not think about the other leg, just think about this leg. So put that ball right at your sit bone. And I want you to just fold forward, just nice and easy. And I want you to focus and breathe right into that joint. So your job here is just to focus and breathe into that joint. And take the ball and move it down about 1/3 of the way, down the outside of the thigh. Keep checking that you're at a right angle, and just fold forward. If it's hard for you to fold forward, you can also use the gold ball to rest on. So just stay here, breathe, let your body weight come down into the ball. Stay here, breathe into the hip joint. Can you lengthen your torso forward? Stay here, breathe. Take the ball about halfway down your thigh. So you can put your sit bone on the floor and lean forward. And inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Try to lengthen your torso forward. Really fold at the hip joint. Breathe into the hip joint. Stay here. Focus on your hip joint. Move the ball to 2/3. Make sure you're still lined up straight. Fold forward. Take 3 or 4 breaths. And now take the ball to the knee. And I want you to take the other ball and put it at your sit bone. So I want you to fold forward, connecting from your hip to your knee. And take a big breath here. Take 3 or 4 breaths, sinking your weight. Try to get it equally into both balls. Make your focus on your breath, breathing into the hip joint. Try to lengthen your torso forward. Focus your breathing in that hip. And I want you to take the gold ball and just put it into the other inner thigh. And just see if you can unwind that other leg backward a little bit. But keep focusing on your front leg. So just stay here, take some breaths. And you can keep moving that ball down towards the knee. Try to unwind that back leg, but keep your focus on the front leg. Take some big breaths here. Try to unwind the back leg. Try to lengthen forward through your chest. Breathe into both balls. And now slowly walk your hands in towards your body, lift your chest, keep your weight into the 2 balls, and come off the balls. And lie on your back. And just tune in to the side we did. Okay, I just want you to breathe and focus on that hip that we worked. I want you to feel let that leg go from side to side. Feel that hip joint. Feel how that hip is now looser. The femur is more extended out. And inhale, bend your knees up. And turn over on your side. And let's do that on the second side.
So take that second side, line it up from your sit bone to your knee in a straight line at the edge of the mat. Keep the balls near you. Pick up your hip and put it right at your sit bone. Keep that foot, that leg, hip to knee to ankle in a right angle. And I just want you to start bending forward. And I want you to just start breathing into the joint. So each side is very different, so I want you to just stay here. Just focus on getting your breath into this hip. Try to lengthen your torso forward, but keep the weight down into the ball. Take the ball down about a third of the way towards your knee. And just lean forward wherever you can comfortably. And again, if it's hard to lean forward, you can use that gold ball to prop your chest. And take 3 or 4 big breaths here. Stay here, breathe. Keep trying to extend your torso forward. Stay low, breathe, get your weight here. Get your breath into the joint. Keep focusing your breath on breathing into this hip joint. Take the ball halfway down. Fold at the hip, so your hip could be on the floor now. Fold forward. Inhale and exhale. Keep extending your chest forward, walking your arms out. Inhale. Focus your breathing on this hip. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Take the ball to 2/3. Keep folding at that hip joint, using your arms to support you in front and to help you extend your torso forward. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And now take the ball just to the side of the knee and take the other black ball and put it at the sit bone. Keep everything lined up straight. And you can use that gold ball to start to extend the back leg or just to keep you supported there. And fold at the hip joint. And start to breathe between the 2 balls. Inhale and exhale. Press into the 2 black balls. Inhale. Breathe deeply. Exhale. Inhale. Breathe deeply into the joint. Try to walk your arms out in front of you more. Lengthen your torso forward. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Start to unwind. See if you can unwind that back leg. See if you can unwind it a little straighter and support it with the gold ball if you need. But focus on lengthening through that front hip. Inhale. And exhale. Lengthen your torso forward. Keep your weight on the 2 black balls. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And take the balls out. Lie on your back for a moment. Let the 2 sides settle in. Extend the legs out. Extend the arms. Turn your legs in and out. See if they move equally. Take some breaths. Feel the work. And And now inhale and bend your knees up into your chest. And just hold them there for a moment. Take a breath into both hips and turn over on the side.
And now I want to end by working on the hips and the back at the same time. So you're going to take the gold ball and you're just going to place it in the back. So come to the back of your mat a little bit. And you're just going to lean that ball into your lower back. And I just want you to lean back. Hold onto your knee. So if you don't have a gold ball and you're working with the black ball, it'll be a little bit harder, but you can still do this. You just need to control it more with your abdominal muscles as that knee goes back. So bring that ball. Gold ball is best ball to do this with. So just inhale. And as you exhale, just lean back. Bring the knee with you. Inhale. And exhale, and just lean back and bring that knee with you. So this stretches the back of the hip joint and the lower back at the same time. Inhale. And exhale, and just lean back. And move your hips a little bit forward and roll that ball up a little bit. Inhale. Breathe into the hip joint. Exhale, lean back into the ball. Inhale. Exhale, lean back into the ball. Bring the knee with you. Inhale. Exhale, breathe, lean back. Slide your hips forward. Let that ball go up to the lower tip of your shoulder blade. Inhale. Exhale, keep pulling that knee forward. You can bend your knee and hold the back of your knee. It'll give you more stretch in the hip. Inhale. If it's hard on your neck, hold your neck. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And move the ball up so it's about halfway up your shoulder blade. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. Breathe up your back. Feel the back of your hips stretching. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And use your other foot. Slide your body forward so that ball's now supporting the back of your neck. And stretch that whole leg up. Pull that. You can keep the knee bent towards your chest. Pull the foot towards you. Take 3 big breaths here. Breathing into the back of the hip joint. Exhaling. And inhaling. And exhale. Try to extend that other leg out too. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And release the leg down. Take the ball out. Extend that leg out. Just take a couple breaths and just feel that whole side. Feel now how the hip to the back released. Feel how that whole side of your body is longer and freer. And now inhale, bend your knees up, roll over onto that side, and let's do the same work on the second side. So go more towards the back of your mat, and just place that ball in your lower back. And just reach forward and pull your knee towards your chest. Inhale. And exhale. Lean back. Inhale. Breathe into your lower back. Exhale. Lean back more with your knee. Inhale. And exhale. Lean back a little more. Now scoot your body up a little bit. Let the ball roll up to, say, your lower ribs. Pull that knee towards you. Inhale. Breathe. Exhale. Lean back. Bring the knee with you. Inhale.
And exhale, lean back, bringing the knee with you. Breathe into your hip joint. Inhale. And exhale. And move your body forward. Take the ball so it's in line with the lower tip of your shoulder blade. And you can straighten that leg out. Hold on to the back of your head. Pull that knee in towards your chest. Inhale. And exhale, pull that knee towards you. Lean back. Inhale. And exhale, lean back some more. Inhale. And exhale, lean back some more. Take that knee with you. Breathe into the hip joint. Again, hold on to your head if it feels like it's getting too tired. Stay here, breathe into the joint, and roll the ball up in line with your middle of your shoulder blade. And hold on to the back of your head. Hold the back of your knee. Inhale. And exhale. Pull that knee more towards your chest. Inhale. And exhale. Keep pulling that knee towards your chest. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep pulling your knee towards your chest. Now slide that ball forward. Slide your body forward, and now let that ball go into the back of your neck so it's fully supported. So you're resting your neck now. Pull that knee in towards your chest. Inhale. Breathe into the hip joint. Exhale. Try to keep the other leg straight. Inhale. Breathe into the hip joint. And exhale. And inhale, pull that knee more to the chest. Breathe into the hip joint and exhale. And one more, inhale. Breathe into the hip joint, breathe up that whole side, bring that knee closer to your chest and exhale and release your leg. And extend your legs out. Extend your arms out alongside you. Take some big breaths here. Just let your body weight settle in here. Feel both hips nice and long and freer. Feel both sides of the pelvis more aligned. Feel your legs more unwound from your hips. Feel your back longer and freer on the floor. Feel how you're able to breathe more through the whole body. Feel all of your body parts more in their perfect places. And now inhale and slowly bend your knees up into your chest. And just hold them there for a moment. Take a couple breaths, breathing into your hips, breathing into your lower back. And then slowly roll over onto a side. And slowly sit up. And just stand. Just stand in place and just feel all of that work that we did. So you really worked fully all the way around the hip joints, stimulating the pelvis, freeing the femurs. You got deep in all around the hips. So you got to really do a self-exploratory trip through your hip joints. And then we added some extra work for you to go deeper into your hips. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you feel like you're floating in your hips and your legs and your body for the rest of the day. And I look forward to offering you more of these classes. God bless.